Yeah, Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money, got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shine.
So, 3 individuals that you love told on you.
Yeah, so what happened was I was at home, I gave them the instructions, told them to follow it. I was preparing for my trip. I was at the house, I had a little townhouse in Torrance, drinking on that Jack Black, smoking them blunts, and motherfuckers come to my front door. I thought I was getting robbed, but it was the police, it was the feds.
And this is 1990?
February 6th, 1990. And I didn't know I was getting arrested for it. I'm thinking that my neighbor, because I never kept people over my house. Only people came to my house was like 2 of my close homies and, you know, females. That wasn't connected to anyone I knew. I'm thinking my neighbors might have said something like, was like, this dude got these toys at the fucking driveway. I go down to the Glass House, the Parker Center, because that's where they were doing their federal booking at the time. As soon as I walk inside there, man, you know, make that left and walk in the hallway, make that other left, I saw all 3 of them handcuffed to a bench. I'm sorry. My heart sank to my feet. It's like, this is part of the lifestyle that when you get put on the hood, they don't tell you that this may happen, you know. And from there, man, I was just like, I didn't say shit, I didn't say nothing.
So this the part, when you say this is the part they don't tell you that may happen. Mm-hmm. So this is the part, nobody ever tell you that snitching becomes part of the consequences of the whole circle of game. Not that it's supposed to be there.
It's not supposed to. It's a part of it.
But it's not supposed to happen.
It's not supposed to happen. But it's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's gonna be there. That is a part of that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ain't nobody gonna say, "Oh, I ain't gonna do it," but motherfuckers did. You know, you gonna ride it out. Most cats ride it out. You got killers that turn state's evidence. You see it on the news all the time. But that's a part of that lifestyle. And I can't accept that part.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
But what is it about a dude that you seen just put it down? I'm talking about just out there squeezing on dudes and taking them out, snuffing them out, putting their candle out, dude, just blowing them, and then he gets inside the police. He just
they start telling everything. It's foul.
I don't understand how that happens.
I don't, you know, because I'm me. I gave my life and my will to the care of my neighborhood. 100%. 100%. So when I got popped, like I said, it was a fluke. And when they said, "What you want to do?" I said, "Not a damn thing." I remained silent.
Still silent to this day.
Huh?
Remain silent, right? The whole, because now
I remain silent. I remain silent, Mel.
That's part of your constitutional right.
Yeah. I remain silent.
And I don't know why people don't get that. It's part of your constitutional right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I just remain silent, and then
and you have a right to an attorney.
Yeah. So I got booked in the early morning hours of February 6th at MDC. We walked to the front door because it was still brand new.
Explain what MDC is.
MDC is a Metropolitan Detention Center, which is located on Alameda, right off the 101 freeway.
A lot of people don't know what that building is.
Yeah, so when you see them small ass windows like this, it's somebody looking out the window. Somebody that just got a life sentence. Somebody just told on somebody looking at them windows, and somebody think about taking their own life because they can't accept the fact this is the ugly side of the lifestyle. So when you going north on 101 in Alameda or going south, when you look on up there, it's right across the street from the train station. That's the federal booking right there. So here I am looking at that map as we processing me in. I counted all the federal prisons. I said there are 63 of them. By the time I got out, there was 122 federal prisons throughout the United States. So
finish what you said.
To make a long story short, man, you know, the arraignment and stuff like that, man, excuse me, they were like, we'll give you 5 years if you give us your connection. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I was 19. They said, you'll be out by the time you're 23 if you give us your connection. And I said, no. No, my lawyer looked at me like I was crazy. I didn't get popped or nothing. You know, they got some money. You know, there's no guns. You know, $150,000 is not, you know, it's not legal.
And that's the jurisdiction problem. We be trying to put our heads around based on the law that we read. How did they even have jurisdiction? I ain't got nothing. You ain't seen me do nothing.
Now here come the part right now.
Okay.
This is the war on drugs, right? This is the war on drug era.
Nixon, Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan, Bush. They want America to feel safe by putting people who was doing what I was doing that looked like me in prison. Ain't no poppy fields in San Pedro and Harbor City. We don't cultivate cocaine. The war on drugs should have been in South America.
What's behind the appearance is the reality, though, because here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were the real drug dealers. The Bush, the Reagans.
They were. Man, I'll tell you so much shit about that, man. But, so the war on drugs, because what they would show on the news was people that looking like me and you, getting rich, cheating poverty, destroying communities. But when it started spreading out the red line districts and start going to Beverly Hills, Huntington Beach, Malibu, Pacific Palisades, Newport Beach,
it's problematic.
Became problematic. When the president's daughter is tricking for hits in South Central, and the Secret Service got to go look for this girl.
Jenna Bush.
Yeah, not just her, Reagan's daughter too. They got to go look for her. Something is wrong. So the war on drugs. So these what they call draconian sentences. This is part of the lifestyle. But getting back to what I was saying, dog, was they were like, we'll give you 5 years if you give us your connect. I'm like, no. So here comes the crazy part right here. Was we were going to trial, dog. We're going to trial. Man, when the U.S. Marshals came up in there, excuse me, U.S. Marshals come up in there with 2 tables, one with the work in it, and the other with the money, and $1,000 stacks, and the jury look up, they're like, man, and they start putting all this money in $1,000 stacks on the tables. And the jury's looking at me. They're looking at the table, and they're looking at me. I look back at my family because I was the only one that was there. Everybody, the neighborhood I represented,
they weren't there.
They didn't represent me. I look back, I saw grandmama, mama, sisters.
Big mama back there crying.
Holding the Bible. See, all they saw was a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So I looked up. I'm like, I told my lawyer, I said, this look bad, don't it? He said, we can get him on appeal. I said, Your Honor, I want to plead guilty. When that motherfucker told me, we can get him on appeal, because I can actually hear the voices of the fucking jury looking at me like, you the reason why my son is in rehab. You the reason why my daughter has been prostituting.
So now it's beginning the process.
I'm like looking, I'm like, we can get him on appeal. I said, Your Honor, I want to plead guilty. He's trying to put me, I want to plead guilty. So he's like, call the recess, and said, okay, what you want, what's going on? I said, I want to accept responsibility. I want to plead guilty. I'll take the 10 years, mandatory first time nonviolent offender. Prosecutor was like, He said, we offered you a 5-year deal. You refused. I said, I don't tell on people, man. I don't tell on people. The statute say first time nonviolent offender. He said, you took us to trial, Mr. Verrett. He said, you got, we're talking about 20 years. I said, man, give me a moment I went just like this. Give me a moment. He looked at me like, you got 60 seconds. I said, fuck, you serious? Like, you got 60 seconds to take more time than I've been alive.
This is double reality kicking in.
This ain't no bullshit, man. It's real talk, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they gave me, I took 20 years, dog. We came out of the little thing, little recess, and said, a guilty plea has been accepted. I went back to MDC. I told my cellie was Freeway Rick. He said, what happened? I said, man, I took 20. 20, he said, yeah. Took 20. Mom called mom, said, what happened? I said, I just pled guilty to 20 years. You know how hard it is to tell your mom on the cell, on a collect call, like, yeah, mom, I ain't gonna get out until 2010. It's only 1990. You know what I'm saying? To sit back and look at a fucking tree and say that's gonna be bloomed up. You know, I told the homie Harry O. They said, man, I got life.
That was Harry O's reply.
Yeah. We got sentenced on the same day.
Wow.
My homie Tommy, little Tommy, he came down with life. Harry had life, and Harry O had life in 27, something like that. I came down with Dub. Rick had life. Rick, my other big homie Ricky Riley, he came down with a boatload of time. Al came down with a whole bunch of time. Everybody was coming down in that bullpen, dog. It was like this. Quiet, just like that. And I looked at Rick and I said, man, on sentencing day, you know what he said? This is the part they don't talk about.
Because here's what they did, though, Ghost. You knew right around that time they had changed the law.
In 1990.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that made you guys first for the new laws, because the old law
exactly
was different. You would have to be on, they can, parole it or do the other things versus.
We were the first ones under this new sentencing guideline to get these, what they say,
maximum
draconian sentences. And
arcade, we gotta add that too, because they was harsh and unusual.
Oh, it was harsh and unusual, yeah. So, now it's like, what the fuck do I do now? Got to be hard, unbending.
But
like,
you did it though.
Yeah, it wasn't, I did it, yeah.
So now I want to get into the part, because a lot of people don't know that this federal system, they think it's a cakewalk. They think,
They
But let's talk about, because is there a difference between the United States Penitentiary and the level 4 yard? The amount of violence in the predator.
Man, they playing for keeps in both of them. They playing for keeps. Ain't no running. You can't shoot a motherfucker, shoot at somebody from a distance, keep going. You gonna have that Bethlehem, that bone crusher. You gonna smell the motherfucker's breath when you poke somebody, because you got to get that close. Do you know what it's like to live to be on defense for 17 years? Do you know what that's like? To be on defense, to play defense every day. What it's like to wake the fuck up in your cell and you got to be fully dressed before they rack that gate. Do you know what it's like to be like that? Motherfuckers don't know. They can make songs about it, but they ain't never lived this fucking reality. When you hit the yard, they give you fucking zuzus and wham-whams. They give you some wine, and they say, here, hold this right here. What's this? Don't get caught without this. Don't get caught without
It's a bone crusher.
Yes.
What was them DC boys like? Because a lot of people don't know.
I'm going to tell you, man. I'll jump around a little bit, but they sent me to a place called USP Florence, Colorado.
Mm-hmm. What was that?
It was the fucking Thunderdome.
Next to the ADX.
Yeah. I said, what it's like here, homie? He said, dangerous. You expect to hear, oh, it's cool. Motherfuckers say, no, it's dangerous here.
Explain.
When you first hit the yard, right? When you first hit the institution, they put you in the hole for a captain review, right? Do your captain's review. Next door to me, this is in 96. In 96. The cell next to me, there's a wall about, like, the wall that separates the cells, right? 96, the dude next to me cut his celly's throat and opened him up and took all his organs out, flushed them down the toilet, stuffed his insides with a pillowcase.
He disemboweled the dude.
He eviscerated this dude, right? You could smell it. He's been dead for a couple of days now. See, in SHU, they have a thing called cell rotation every 30 days. You got a cell rotation. During this time in USP Florence, like, what's that fucking smell? Thought somebody got caught in a vents or something. There was a dead body. So when it's time to do cell rotation, they opened that food trap and said, pack your shit. And they was like, pack your shit. And next door was like, nah. Oh my God, there's a dead body next door.
What happened to the 4-count count, though?
They did, in SHU, motherfuckers wasn't standing up during SHU. You went SHU, fuck you. I ain't standing up.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't doing that. So after that part, they had to do the bean bags and all that shit. But the bean bags didn't work, so all you gotta do is wrap up your plastic mattress and do that. All right. But when they put that pepper spray in there, you can't stop that pepper spray because it came through the doors. Everybody's sneezing and coughing. Make a long story short, was after that, that's why people stand up on Saturday mornings at that Saturday morning 10 a.m. count before they close the yard in the morning. That's why. That was 97, 96, 97. You can look it up.
So the mandatory count became throughout the system.
They don't care if you in SHU, you're going to stand up count at 4 o'clock and at 10 o'clock.
Because they got to see a live living body.
They got to see a live body. That's because dude killed his celly. You know what I'm saying?
And took all his organs out.
Stuffed
it with a pillow.
Stuffed him with a pillow. You can go ahead and look it up. Google it. Then walk in the yard, seeing the homies, go to the dining hall, sit on the bleachers, smoke a cigarette, see one of these Serenos from California getting taken off the yard handcuffed because that's the farthest that they can go. And you got the Texas essays putting hits out on people right there. Smoking cigarettes, talking about the yard, see a cat walking across the yard, handcuffed for 2 COs, and you see cats running toward them.
They can't do that no more.
And they stabbing them. They stabbing. COs run off like this. This dude stabbing them, you know, and killed him right there on the yard. Warning shot, pow. Everybody lay down, homie. Like, fuck, lay down. You know. So, you know.
Yeah, when I got there, they couldn't walk you across the yard handcuffed.
You know, they start using that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
They use that tunnel. But now just imagine living like that for 17 years. Now, it wasn't always bad. There were some good times. You know, it's like we was trudging together, Mel. Got a lot of respect for what you doing, and many of the homies has gotten out and bossed the fuck up. Excuse my language, but bossed the fuck up, right? We was in the trenches together, you know. I'm glad I can tell my story.
Exactly.
Instead of being my story.
So, when you're in the feds, you got the Cali card, you got the DC card.
The DC boys,
New York.
I don't know why the DC boys in LA don't get along. I do not know why. You know,
they the same people. They both savages.
Yeah, you know, it's like, it's fucking crazy. You know, because you from DC, I'm from LA. Because I'm from down south, you from over here, from over there. It's like when we was out of state, like the Damus and the Crips, we was one. When we was out of California, we was one. You know what I'm saying? Because you from California. If you was at Lewisburg or we gonna be sellers. Damu, Crip don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
You was in Marion, you was in Terre Haute,
Atlanta. I'm gonna ride with you.
Yeah, can't be separated.
You can't be separated
by no means.
By no means, because motherfuckers want your head. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of my closest homeboys. He from San Diego, Lincoln Park. Solid cat, man. It's like, I will poke you over this motherfucker right here. That's my dog right there. You know what I'm saying? But the DC boys, I met some, met a few of them, you know, and it's like, man, what? You a cool cat, Ghost, like you too. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's out of respect, you know, when you walk in the yard, the chow hall, the dining room, they can't sit there, we can't sit there, all that shit.
You know what should get me about that chow hall was this. Remember that? Yeah. When you sit at the chow, before somebody got up or sat down?
Oh, yeah.
They knock on the table.
I ain't thought about that in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's out of our memory, but that was just weird to me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm on the sideline, y'all, but you know where that comes from? That comes from in the 1940s and the 1930s. They weren't allowed.
By the way, who we talking to? We talking
OGYD, man, of Compton Ready, man, on the streets of America, and Urban Realness. Those three platforms, but that comes from the 1930s and 40s in San Quentin and Folsom and other prisons like Sing Sing and so forth, where you know I got to represent Compton, where you couldn't talk in the chow hall. So when you acknowledged that you were leaving to your who was sitting with you eating, you went.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Did it moving like that. So that's where that derived from. I just want to interject because I'm really enjoying this thorough interview with the brother Ghost out of the Harbor City area.
Right on, Ghost.
Yeah, I ain't thought about that in a long time, man. Shit.
Yeah, that was
yeah, tap on the table.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, you know, I'm just like I said, I get a chance to tell my story versus being a story any longer. But it was
so what was it like being in there with the Italian mob? Because they was in there. I remember when the old Italian mob, they was old men. Shit. Somebody disrespected one of them dudes, man, they cowboyed up and mobbed down there on the dude.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, when John Gotti came, he was going to ADX. Mm-hmm. At the USP, they locked that motherfucker down. But his co-defendant came there, you know, and like Rudy Tham, these are all these old, you know, when you become a certain age, you do so much time in the pen, it doesn't matter what you look like. You got the Steve Stevensons, you got, you know, the Theo Jacksons, you got the Robert Pools. These are all old cats. they ain't tripping no more. They all go to the medication line together. You know, they all play bocce ball together. They all go play pinochle together. You know, and when them cats taught me how to play pinochle, I never played spades again. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And they like,
True
man,
story.
like, you youngsters out here just fucking shit up, and you gonna end up like this. You're gonna end up going to Medline when you're 78 years old, when you spent the last 36 years in the penitentiary, and your release date says upon death. That's what's gonna happen to you. You keep doing what you're doing. You know. But yeah, it's something that what I said from the beginning, that this may happen to you if you make this decision right here.
So I see you with the hat, Street Kings. Tell us about Street Kings.
Street Kings is you too, man. Shit, we from the streets. I create my own kingdom now. You know, and we made it through. Made it through. So everybody is can tell their story about how they built their kingdom and represent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man.
Show us your book.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my first novel right here. This is my first memoir. It's called An Inside Job, From Life in a Maze to an Amazing Life. And this is what this is about. It's about my journey, some of the stuff that we've been talking about. And I don't glorify the lifestyle at all.
Where can they get the book?
They can go to djverrett.net and order the book. It just became an audio book.
Spell it for them so they know.
www.djverrett.net.
Cool.
It's an audio book now. 7 hours of listening.
If they want to follow you, are you in any social medias? Can they contact you
Hit me
there?
up on Instagram at Mr_Ghost, GHOST_Loc, LOC.
There it is, there, man. We got the Street King himself, man. Y'all heard this story, man. We're gonna wrap it up here, Ghost. But I appreciate it, man. To go. If you got anything, but before we go, I need you to offer the kids something that can help them see everything that you said and take it in perspective, but use it as a lesson to know what not to do and how to just live a better life versus the one we live and how we play. Because we met at Terminal Island, right?
Yeah.
And we spent quite a bit of time there. We saw all the I'm talking about all the major players that ever played the game came through there one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, and we ran across and we saw them. But talk to the kids for a moment.
Man, if any youngsters out there listening, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's important to find your gift, develop that part right there, and ain't nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. That's all you gotta do. If you copy the wrong cat, I guarantee you'll produce similar results or worse as that wrong cat. So find the cats you want to copy and copy them. So again, ain't nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
Go ahead and lock the door, man. Lock the door.
Peace.
I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the feds get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke